Bitcoin is close to becoming worthless.
Let's go. Now, what's the Bitcoin?
Bitcoin's like rat poison.
Yeah. Oh,
The greatest scam in history.
let's get it.
Bitcoin will go to fucking zero.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Bitcoin Brief. This one is very different. I met with Bitcoin Q&A, Dice Rolls, Black Coffee and Ben Gunn at Ben Gunn's site. We went and had a look round, looked at the lakes, looked at the new CNC machine, looked at everything that was being developed there. It was really good to catch up with everyone. We sat around a table with one mic. The audio quality is not the best. I've run it through a load of special AI stuff, done lots of trickery to try and get rid of the background noise from the dogs and machinery and everything else that was going on. The audio is far from perfect, but it was amazing catching up with everyone. I just wish I could paint the scene so that people could see what we saw. Dice rolls out on the barbecue that wasn't working, with a blowtorch and a massive gas tank cooking us chicken and sausages. The dogs flying around, machinery everywhere, quad bikes and motocross bikes, and it was absolute carnage, as is usual with anything that Ben Gunn touches. We also didn't really cover the new Dojo on Start 9. I recorded a separate episode with Jordan on this. I was going to play it for everyone and then talk about it. It didn't happen. You can't get a word in edgeways with Ben Gunn, let me tell you. 24 hours over there ages you a couple of years. It's hard work, but it's worth it. So the part where I say inserting audio now is not actually going to be inserted. That's going to go on a separate episode. So have a listen to that. Let us know if you have any questions. I'm very excited about that update. And before I rabbit on for the rest of the day, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone involved in this episode. Big thank you to Dice Rolls for putting on such a spread. Sausages and chicken and burgers and halloumi and all sorts of things. It was pretty awesome. So thank you for doing that, mate. Thank you also to everyone who has been boosting the show, sharing it with friends and family, making clips, retweeting and everything else that you're doing. We really do appreciate it. I'd also like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. They really help us put this content out, keep it consistent, keep the quality high, allow us to do these type of meetups, as well as making incredible products. I'd like to start with Foundation. We actually covered a little bit in this episode the new Passport Prime. It was the first time getting one of these in my hands. The feel, the weight, the quality of this thing is incredible. So I really can't wait to get my own and start playing with it. I think it's going to be April that these things are going to start shipping. If you haven't already ordered one or you haven't checked them out, you can go back and listen to the full episode I did with Zach and Q for the announcement of it, where we go into a lot more detail. Or you can go to foundation.xyz and you can use the code ungovernable for a discount. I don't actually think that is going to be working for the Passport Prime yet. Maybe Q can tell me if that's true or not. I think it's going to just be for the Passport or anything else on the website. But test it, go and check it out. At the very least, if you're ordering a Passport, you will definitely get a discount and it helps support the show. A big thank you also goes out to Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet have been supporting this show for around 6 months now. Again, we talked about them in this episode because they're going to be the first app going on to the new Passport Prime. I'm very excited about this. It really is an important step, and having Q on one team and Seth on the other team, they're two people that I have incredible amount of respect for and work extremely hard to help people be secure and private. With Cake Wallet, you can easily connect to your own Bitcoin or Monero nodes. You can swap between them. You can spend, buy gift cards, and much, much more. If you're actually using Bitcoin and Monero, this really is an incredible tool. They have over 500,000 users already, and if you're not one already, check them out at cakewallet.com. And enjoy the show. Well, we're recording whenever anyone wants to jump in.
Is it?
Yep.
Does it work?
Yep, you just tested it. It's all good. Has everyone got a chair?
And that is coffee.
Have we got coffee? There's a bit. Yeah, I think there's still a bit in the jug, is there?
No, I just took the last bit.
Have you seen the Terry Tate version of this? You kill the Joe, you make some mo.
Good coffee, that.
Skills.
Yeah. Very nice.
That's all you need. Like all the stuff. Fancy shit.
Fancy shit. What did you do it with? Just a trip thing?
You matched one stamp.
What you doing?
Hey, Laura.
Hey, Paul.
Laura loves it.
Keep bringing with that stuff. I'm in this happy birthday. You killed it, Joe. You made some more. You know that, baby.
There's a load of them. There were NFL commercials. They're excellent. He does one where he farts in a lift as well. It's quite good. Is there actually no coffee?
There's no coffee.
You
never
like
liked
fucking prick.
Well,
Haven't you got hairpiece? Have you got hairpiece?
Yeah.
That's all you. That's you have. See, all that was the bacon butty. Oh.
Huh?
Well,
You do all the food.
We can eat that.
we're brothers now.
Oh, really?
Cheers. Not even a lot of it. We got about 5 new latent diseases for about 3 sips of coffee.
Going to bring the foods.
No, are we going to talk?
Yeah.
It's food at lunch, isn't it?
We can keep it warm.
Yeah.
Keep it warm in the microwave.
I can say who's here.
Yeah.
So dice rolls, Ben Gunn, got black coffee and Q&A. The absolute treat. And some dogs knocking around.
Dog Samson.
Filthy dogs.
What's your dog's name? The one that's standing on all my artwork.
Yeah, I won't Dobson dog.
Never dogs.
You were
You do a bitch.
whatever you were just standing on limited edition copies of Citadel 21.
Go over there.
I do love you though. Come here. It's because mine's in the way.
Bit of a difference.
Samson, come here, lie down. Come and lie down.
No
Come on, love.
plans, have we? We've got no talking points,
No.
no news, no software updates.
You could say we're very unprepared.
Should we just finish that?
Yeah, so that's
Now let's
it.
wrap it up. See you next week.
But I did want to talk about the Dojo updates because that's a big one.
Are those guys had any sunlight shone on them from Trump yet?
Who?
The Samourai guys.
No mention.
So they just
My
got
knowledge.
like memory hold.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
Got Ross,
At least
but
now. Yeah.
we got Ross, but they we're still working on them.
I think there's some talk, or like some people are trying to push to see if Ross might do a little tweet because they did a lot when Ross was inside.
Yeah, they donate to the cause, and Ross was also vouching for Roger Ver, wasn't he, last week?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So everybody jumped on the bandwagon to say, look, you know, if you're vouching for Roger, you need to be kind of pushing for Samurai as well, because they were...
I don't understand how you can vouch for Roger Ver or not vouch for him. Like, is it something like a topic-related issue, like a principle-based thing where Roger's a dick, but not for the reasons he's supportive of it? To play devil's advocate for a guy who's just out of prison.
No, I reckon it's more he's probably been told.
By you?
People who let him out, maybe?
No.
I reckon.
But for the Samurai guys, like the bigger news, nearly the bigger news than being arrested, that's the biggest news. But the heads of every federal department of the US has just cleaned out more than they have ever cleaned anything out. Kash Patel and whoever else, Tulsi Gabbard, all changed at that. And I think they've sacked all the Soros-side local DAs as well. So the entire bones and sinews of the legal system have kind of just been switcherooed. I don't know what the implications of that are, but
Yeah, I don't know.
huge change in the wind.
But it would be nice to see him say something because it's like, I think even they made a paynim for him and all that. Like they did a free Ross paynim and like all this kind of stuff. And it's like, talk about value for value. Samurai did what they could to try and help him. It'd be nice to see that return. I mean, I don't think Roger Ver should be in prison. No one fucking should for that sort of stuff. But I think Samurai is a much more important cause than old Roger.
I didn't even know he was still alive. I wouldn't be if I was offside at 300,000 actual bitcoins.
Is that what he is?
Well, that's how much he sold in the fork war.
Jesus Christ.
That's how much he had, I think. He's like, well, hold my beer. So I couldn't live under a canopy that. I'd be in the woods for good reasons. I'm amazed he's still upright.
And he was on what was the big show he was on the other day?
Yes, I know the one.
It was on Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson. Yeah. Roger Ver was.
Yeah.
And he didn't mention Samurai either. And they knew each other.
Why would Roger Ver mention
Well,
something?
because they knew each other. They worked together.
It doesn't matter. Like
It's like
they fell out.
and they're in the same sort of boat-ish, where it's like, come on.
But it's broader than Bitcoin. The political prosecutions are broader than Bitcoin. And the tide that went out for Trump as he was being prosecuted was under the same shit. Ross was in prison forever if the other one had got in.
Oh, yeah.
End of. End of. And then probably not a proper election after that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that whole country's just changed so much that calling it the same name is ridiculous, I think, at this point. It's a complete operating system level whip out. They can only be to Samurai's benefit.
That's what I'm thinking. It's like...
You can't legitimise Bitcoin in the law and then retrospectively prosecute the use of Bitcoin.
But how do you get that out there? Like, how do you get Tucker Carlson, all these bigger people talking about... Yeah, because it's like, you know, Roger's getting a load of limelight and everyone's fucking quiet out there with the Samurai stuff. I don't hear it talks about hardly ever, other than in like the tiny little circles that we run in. And it's like, it's not on any of the...
And for that matter, Julian Assange and Stella Assange, you know, absolutely every reason to spend the time however they bloody want, but no comment. And probably, like, good idea, but we don't understand what they've been told. And
I get that one more. Like, Julian Assange, I'm like... Mate, just fucking go and enjoy the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
Health, like, just go and do it.
See your family.
Touch grass. I mean, fucking hell. You imagine. Yeah. So fine, but like...
But on the positive side, we've got Dojo going on to start 9. So, Coffee, you've been pretty close to this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to fill in some details. I'm going to insert a clip from me talking to Jordan, like, now, so people get some of the stuff. But
okay. That's an interesting noise. Welcome, Max.
As always.
Wow, we just saw a little insight into Max's workflow.
Yeah.
Fucking terrifying. Have you got any other noise?
Editing real time.
I've got a few up my sleeve.
Crikey, man.
I won't give all my noises away at once.
Bloody hell, mate.
Up to you.
Bit of foreplay, mate.
What's been going on with it? I think Jordan's been leading it mostly, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's been doing a lot of the coordination of what's been going on.
Herding cats.
Yeah, difficult cats to herd.
Yeah.
But what have we got now? It was getting more difficult to run Dojo, I guess. So with the release of Ashigaru, there was a possibility, you know, you could get Ashigaru and use dojobay.pw and choose someone else's dojo to run Ashigaru through. But if you wanted to run your own, the choices were, if you had some Ronin Dojo hardware, use that, or spin up your own dojo, which is kind of tricky. It's not for everyone, is it? Have you done it, Q?
Vanilla Dojo?
Yeah.
Once. And then when it came to upgrade, I forgot how to do it and then gave up.
Yeah, so I think you had similar experiences, man.
Yeah, Vanilla Dojo, I had lots of problems with. Ronin Dojo, loved the team, but I had constant problems with.
You've also got Umbra as well.
Yeah, that was shit.
I've not tried it for a
That was shit. I did try it and it was shit.
So what's the best now, just to save everyone a lot of time?
This is
fucking start 9.
So this is where we are. It's like
Who won? Just tell us who won.
We're setting the scene.
So start.
Okay. Right.
Go on, Ben.
Come on, get on with it.
You lead.
What we're doing, Ben?
Yeah, what's happening, Ben?
You're just talking about all the losers in order, and everyone's just waiting for which one won.
Right, go on. So what's the win?
I don't know. I'm waiting. Start 9. Start 9.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Is that why I'm here?
Yeah. So we're gonna have Fulcrum, and Fulcrum's the Electrum RS compatible indexer for Bitcoin.
That's what I was going to say.
There's a Start 9 app, and Dojo is a Start 9 app, and I don't know whether Jordan's spoken about this bit, but it looks as though Start 9 are going to take those apps on as core apps for Start 9.
Yes.
Which could be mega.
So it won't be in the community section, it will be actually within there.
Yeah, like sort of blessed by
the
Start
main
9.
marketplace.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, which means that you can have the ability to run a pretty solid dojo on a pretty solid bit of hardware.
Yeah.
With Ashigaru, which is a solid wallet.
Yeah.
So it just joins up all the things that have been missing for a while now. It doesn't complete the ecosystem, but yeah, that's where we are. It's really, really good. Jordan's done brilliant work with it.
Yeah. And you did a lot of testing and bits and pieces.
Yeah, I was involved with the testing.
Is Foundation involved? Like the way you used to work with Sparrow on Whirlpool transactions? You had a UX on Passport for that.
So we had the ability to set like a specific Postmates account number and have it made straight to cold. That's kind of independent of all of this stuff, unfortunately, because to my knowledge, there's no
end-to-end. There's no way to connect in.
No, so the Dojo software is unique to the Samurai/Ashigaru ecosystem. It's like the back end for that style of wallet. So for like Envoy that obviously we produce, that is just a typical Electrum server backend, which would talk to Fulcrum which is now going to be on Start9, which I didn't know. So you could point it to that, but not to the Dojo software, which is, again, just for Ashigaru or Samurai.
Well, it's just a matter of time, isn't it?
Fucking big steps forward. Like, if you think where we were a year ago to where we are now, was it a year? How long has it been since Samurai arrests? When was that? That was June. Was it June?
I think it was June
last
yeah,
year.
I think it was June.
June last year. You know, that then suddenly everything looked fucking dark for a while there. Since then, Ashigaru, then we had the Dojo Bay, now we've got it coming on to Start9. Obviously still not Whirlpool, but I'm sure.
And they're just the directional replacements, the at 1-for-1 replacements.
I would say better.
Well, of course better, but like the next of that. But the next one is Lightning's still partly secret, and the progress on the Federation stuff. I know it's not popular with everybody, but it does offer privacy, you see. If it's big enough, if it's a big enough Federation, it is like a casino with open float chips. You do have perfect privacy in it, but it just has to be big enough to have the traffic to anonymise you. You can't mean you couldn't open a Federation and mix coins.
I know I don't like them. I know Q doesn't like them. Dice?
No.
I don't care about that. Like, why not?
Trust?
Okay. Yeah, right.
I saw a tweet from Evan from Zeus yesterday, on Nostr.
He's a great guy.
That perfectly summed this up.
Go on.
And it said, I'm going to butcher this now, Evan, so if you're listening to this, I apologise for butchering it. But it's something like, trusted solutions have the perfect UX until they have the worst UX, i.e. it's super easy to use it until you get rug pulled.
Yeah, but I think on the UX stuff, the harder it is to use, the more chance you rug yourself. Or don't. I don't think there's any making something harder for someone to use and then just asking them to learn more. I think that's a bit of an abdication of the problem. The thing about the federations is, if you assume everybody can learn at the pace you have, then we should all be on what we've been using now. But there will be people that need social recovery. That, in terms of trust, we've already broke those rules, because I can Uncle Jim on my passport, Mark's, or my dad's. So we're trusting each other already in that sense. This is just a variation of that. It's just another...
Yeah, it was massively different to a Whirlpool, though, mate. Like,
in what sense? Because it's perfectly private. So it's actually arguably better.
I don't know that it is perfectly private. I think it depends.
Well, Chomi and Mint, I'm not going to make the argument because everyone can look, but yeah, they are. Chomi and Mints are perfectly
you can
private.
also get rugged. I'm not saying it's like a terrible idea, but what I'm saying is, for a lot of people, the UX on like Samurai and Dojo was pretty horrific 5 years ago. It was a pain in the arse for non-technical people. But where we are now, if/when Whirlpool comes back, you can run a Start9, piss easy, or just buy one off the fucking shelf, plug it in, done. Press one click to install Dojo, install Ashigaru.
Yeah, I get it, but it's all that, right? And that's fine, I get it. But 90% of people who don't use Bitcoin are never, ever, ever going to get it. Ever.
I agree with that.
They can't even get checks removed from the UK, paper checks, tried, and too many grannies use them. That's the real bar.
I get that.
And you're paying fees. And you've got UTXO management problems. Because you remember that time you forgot what your labellings?
Yeah.
Right.
Very much.
Right. So it's not functionally private for the average user.
I just don't think that you can't really compare the two. Yeah, it's apples and oranges, isn't it?
I'd rather put somebody out of an exchange, take off the exchange, and have them land in a federated mint than just leave left on the exchange, and the gap being, well, you've got to learn how to, you got to go and roll dice in the yard 500 times, because that's the best practice.
Who runs the mints? Who do you trick? Because you have
well, obviously it's degrees of trust.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's a tricky thing.
But you've got trust problems anyway. You've left. How many bitcoins are still on the exchanges? So you're not making it perfect. You're making it against.
I mean, the risk in terms of who runs them. So, like, if you run a mint, yes, now allowing all this privacy and perfect privacy, theory and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're running one of these things.
Yeah.
Now you're a money transmitter or whatever fucking label is put on it.
Yeah.
So who will run the mints?
That's the elephant in the room.
Well, if you retreat from that and you run whirlpools instead, any UTXOs that are marked as though looking that they've just gone through a whirlpool aren't redeemable in the real world straight away. On the principle that we just spiked the mixers who made the mixer. So if you go and make your own container and you run it yourself, fine. But now you're the closest nerve ending to a stomp. So if you retreat that way, if you've kept your fees, you've kept the user experience problems, you're back to where you started before they got swatted, the developers, and now that risk is on anybody running it.
Maybe.
And a federation's not, that's a problem as well, because it looks like you're posting into a wallet. But the wallet stays, I think, just stays as a BC fixed wallet.
When you peg into a mint and peg out, it looks just like a Lightning transaction.
Yeah.
So
Which can look like a personal transaction. You can make an argument that you...
So to tie that up then, so you have the potential issue or stomping point with Whirlpool is, right, you've been through Whirlpool, we want to now somehow say that you can't spend these funds. Okay, fine. Open a Lightning channel, send it into a mint.
So you're already, like, talking about privacy, you're already on Lightning again. After fees, after you've mixed, you go on a Lightning channel is your fix.
If someone wants to stop
but this is like Guess Who. You've got the whole board is like people who want to use money. And we're down, like, first two steps of that process. You get there, you're private, and you've done it. But 90 of those people out of the 100 on the board are gone. Not usable. Not scalable. No one's got the time to learn all that. And that's where I'm saying you can't make great the enemy of good. If a federation just lets you roll off onto a pool that's not the exchange, you've taken a direct counterparty risk with the exchange. And yeah, you've got to take your chances with the guardians of that pool.
But the thing is,
it's not 3 times.
This is not a binary choice. It's not a case of Federation or Whirlpool. It's like this stuff exists for whoever wants to use it. And if
I'm
you want
looking
to be
at like cheapest route to privacy.
Yeah.
Like total privacy in the money.
Yeah. It's trade-offs, isn't it?
It is, of course it is. But that's a very good one. Show me in mints.
We get to see it in the wild and see it working properly and people using it and who's going to run that. There's loads of fucking questions around it. And you're right, like using both and having the options is best. But I disagree that it's difficult now if we got Whirlpool back to run it because it is one click on fucking start 9. One click. That's it. One click.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Never spent less than fucking 5 days setting a full node up, or you. But that'll be remain to be seen. Maybe it is.
Well, my start 9, setting up my start 9 this time even running it on my old laptop, pretty fucking painful.
Did you get help? Was there someone who did they soften the pickle jar up for you? I don't believe that.
I've fucked it since then doing...
Did they do it up, repack it, and then pretend that you were just doing it from the start? Yes. But they'd actually just turn it on. Did it say max on it when it loaded up?
You must
press here.
Hit that big bloody red button.
It's simple.
Yeah, I haven't.
It is simple. Like, I fucking can do it.
It's a relative statement, and we've just become really comfortable with doing stuff that's a bit tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no one talks to the ones that are just not using it.
But what about someone who's buying... Anyone can buy a Start 9 pre-built and plug it into their fucking Ethernet cable.
Yeah, but anybody can walk around this land, but they'd have to bring wellies.
Anyone can flash it. It's that easy now.
Anyone. Any fucking retard can do it, and then anyone can go on the graphical user interface,
install
Dojo.
Yeah. So why isn't it adopted? Why isn't
it in there yet?
So the dam's going to burst whenever this gets released?
Not really, because
it's going to trigger a wave of baby boomers using big... No.
What I'm saying is that anyone who cares can. Even non-technical ones. Like someone like me who 5 years ago would spend a whole weekend fucking around and breaking stuff and calling Q and like, oh, I've broken this and how the fuck does this work? And oh, stress. And in channels and oh, fuck. Now, me 5 years ago could go, Ethernet cable, install, done.
I'm looking forward to the video.
Yeah.
Nothing's that easy. Except the new Prime.
Except the new...
I didn't pay him to say that, by the way.
And I haven't even seen it. But he's a very good illustrator, QA. I haven't even seen it. But the drawing he did looks really good.
Yeah, that was a good drawing.
Especially with crayons. You're an artist.
Dark mode as well.
Yeah. Shaded. I know it's a bit, we'll butt heads on that. But it's just...
There's both. There's room for
both.
Yeah,
and like,
exactly that.
We'll
let the best one win.
When it comes to Fedi Mints, any cashew... It's a difficult one, isn't it? Like, I'm listening
Kettle's blood.
Like, you're not going to... It's industrial fine, mate. Like, Q, you don't like cashew. I don't know, maybe I'm speaking for you. But there's reasons for it. There are good use cases for it. Like, I'm not going to put all my Bitcoin into a cashew mint.
Yeah, 100%.
But there's times... You are.
Yeah.
But, like, there's all this stuff. It's like, none of it's binary. It can all exist. Yeah. I don't think you can tell people you shouldn't use stuff.
No. I and to be clear, I don't think I ever have said don't use. Nobody should use this. It's a case of, and in fairness, the people behind Cashew, like Callie, obviously, like he's very, very forthcoming with the trade-offs, more than anybody is. But not everybody is, unfortunately. So my main gripe or bugbear is to just make sure that you're very clear about the trade-offs.
Private wallet of Satoshi.
Yeah, exactly. That sort of stuff. But yeah, you're absolutely right in terms of like use cases. Like if the specific use case that you want to look at is how do I onboard to Nostr and receive value straight away, Cashew's perfect for it.
Yeah.
You don't need to fuck about. You just like it's there, it works, it's done. But is it something that I would push somebody to be like, this is your first onboarding into, air quotes Bitcoin? Then I think you're doing them a disservice. So it's the right application for the right use case.
So I don't think people are getting the right information because there's VC money behind some of this stuff.
Incentives.
And not necessarily Cashew, but other stuff.
Yeah.
And therefore people aren't saying, these are the issues, and maybe you should consider whether you should use it.
How many times, we talk about it on the show all the time, but these fucking dickheads who go around the world onboarding people onto Wallet of Satoshi and thinking they're changing the world, that is a big step up to use something like Cashew compared to Wallet of Satoshi. Privacy wise, yeah, it's still custodial, but it's a massive step up. Like, it's,
you can't separate the two, because if they've done it on Wallet of Satoshi, that got up someone's arse who was doing Cashew work, and they said, fuck that, we'll do it this way. And it's just stepping stones. But there's a big advantage to doing stuff, even if it looks a bit paper mache behind the scenes. Statements and physical examples of something working are a big deal, even if they look more filled out than they really are. It's a big advantage to use something that does have a trade-off if it's easier, just to show you can. It's even if that's the hook, and then they realise your point of view and say, right, well, that makes it a lot easier, but I'd rather be a bit on the safe side, and they can pick their basket they sit in. But some people I don't think will ever leave Nostr for Bitcoin and transactions. You can put them all together into one account. That's it. No one will go up the ladder unless it's big amounts of money. And then they'll just buy the service from a business. That's what happens in Bitcoin. Anything that's technically not possible for a while, it's like a business forms around it.
I guess like multi-sig was kind of that, like Casa were doing that.
Exactly. And then the other one is like the Lightning. Lightning was then, it was a white paper, then it was a Lightning torch. Yeah. Then the channel thing became a problem. And then it became Lightning service providers.
Yeah.
Right. So
Phoenix is popular for a
because
reason.
They wouldn't have existed if channels would have been fixed technically, but they persisted like a broken bone, and then the business grew around it. So if anything stays stuck in Bitcoin, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, a business comes out offering a business solution with trade-offs, the tech guys are upset. They want to have the problem that doesn't work, and the business trying to square the circle kind of gets shit. Is what I've seen as a pattern. But we'll see. So that's the agenda.
What else is going on in Bitcoin world? People upset about or excited about?
Hands up, I don't know. You've not really been in the world of Bitcoin.
Dice, what have you got for us?
Not Bitcoin.
Any thoughts?
I haven't at the moment, then.
No?
You've just been eating. You've just been going back and forth on the barbecue, feeding yourself sausages while we're talking.
Sausages cooked with a blowtorch.
You wore a hole in my carpet.
I was looking after 2 dogs.
Dog dad.
See.
I'm so tuned out at the moment.
You're tuned into our stuff.
Yeah, I'm tuned into what's going on here. But like broader, I'm so timed out from it. Like, I work on stuff that's useful, stuff that I think should exist. And apart from that, I don't care about the latest thing.
There's repetitive arguments now.
Yeah.
You feel like you're going back in time. Sometimes you're going to the wrong thread.
Greybeard syndrome.
It's just they're just arguing on stuff that was resolved years ago, like it's new. You graduate from Bitcoin. You graduate from it. You can't go back and enjoy that pod with that finance guy that put the piece in the puzzle for you. Once you've done the tour, you're fucking done.
Yeah,
you check back in for big check.
Figure out your use case. You get comfortable with the tools that you like, and then you kind of tune out a little bit. And because to keep up with the latest and greatest CTV covenants, all that sort of stuff, and all the arguments and the pros and cons around it, and then the next thing with Lightning, like it's a full-time job.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Twice over.
The no bullshit Bitcoin thing. If it gets on that, it's worth a look down.
Yeah,
it's worth 3 minutes or spritz, 30 seconds. That happened. Ellen bits. Blah, 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 right done.
And even like with stuff like Opcat, CTV, that sort of thing, it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to change anything by getting heads up about it. Like, it'll come into existence or it won't, and I can use it if I want to if it comes into existence.
It can't be worse than the hard fork. Like, if that fucking happened, we traded through that. So just tell us who won. Hiss and honk and just tell us who won. Or no one won. It's a waste of time. Come here and build houses.
Yes. Yeah.
You'll have a house at the end, not just tired.
Do you think things are quieter now than they were 4 years ago? Or is it just me being tuned in?
No, I care as well.
Yeah.
I think everyone around this table cares less. Not cares less, but like...
No more. But just
well, how many times you watch your favourite movie, even though it's your favourite? It's not your whole life. It's a tool. Yeah. Bitcoin is a tool. It's not the thing. It's not the god. It's just an easier way to get along on something very important. That's it.
This is the wallet software I use. I like Samourai. I don't care about these extra. Really, honestly, I don't really care because I'm like, it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
That's what I use.
Yeah.
And I use a passport. I don't really care about other stuff. Past that, like, I used Whirlpool when it was around because that was what I like. Past that, it's like, I don't really fucking.
See, so that's what we're trying to do. So when you feel like that, come skydiving with us. And when you're all bored and sad about what you're at, I'll just come and push you out of a plane. Literally.
Good analogy.
Literally. Because this is the other thing, like, there's a thesis. Everybody's got bigger bags than they've got character to judge when and how to use it. And yeah, you can lock it in a well and get 10 million quid or lock yourself in prison, but there's a game you're in your life and you've got to use it like a tool. It doesn't run you. Your dog's busy.
This room's just going to be full of sticks by the end of the course.
It's like this warty tip. There's one on the table. We've got a ball up here.
Sticks and sausages.
Yeah, I think for me around like staying up to date and stuff, when I was really at the stage where I couldn't get enough of this sort of stuff, like 2018, 2019, the community was so much smaller and the conversation was much more focused around the latest developments and like much more ethos driven.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's just, we just talk about Trump, we talk about the next bank, we talk about Sailor.
Yeah.
And I just like, that just doesn't interest me. So that's part of the reason why I don't stay as up to date with the you know, the wider conversation, because it's just not for me.
But what would be the other storyline where you're like, right, I've got to get back in and check in? Is it the ground game?
For me, it's the conversation on Nostr, basically,
right.
At the moment.
It's
Nostr now feels like Bitcoin did in 2018.
No, like, mate,
Jesus.
I think arguably Nostr's bigger than Bitcoin for a period of time. Like it can, I think it does this.
I go that far.
No, because it's just hand in glove with Bitcoin. If you onboard a Nostr user, you've basically onboarded a Bitcoiner. But the addressable market for Nostr users has no gaps to carry, because it's a means to an end. So if we use it to start certifying under different training systems or memberships or any other type of endorsement or proof of work, anybody, a mountain bike instructor, a farmer, anybody who needs that record, ships a Bitcoin wallet off their Nostr. And then that adoption rate, I think the adoption rate overtakes Bitcoin in whatever pro rata way that is. And then when everyone's on Nostr, then they pick up more Bitcoin.
Maybe.
It's that big.
Max isn't convinced.
I just fucking...
You just see a Twitter clone.
No.
I think you're comparing it to a social...
And you're not. You've got to go on You've got to go on through all the nips and what they promise. No. And you go, fucking hell, that's the internet on an A4 piece of paper.
No.
Yeah.
What I feel...
Don't care what you feel.
If I hear too much hype, and usually when I hear too much hype, things are quite shit. It gives me that feeling of like...
Opium.
Yeah, there's this feeling around it where I'm like, I get the technical aspects of what it can do, and yeah, it's not just a Twitter clone, and I understand the need for it, and I get it. Cool. There's something about it. Maybe it's because it's very VC heavy. It feels like it's being... feels like it is. It feels like the way it's shilled is not completely organic. Like, it's like, wrap up the people who are already in Bitcoin, feed them this, and it is cool. And it just, I don't know, it doesn't feel as organic as Bitcoin did to me. That's all it is. I understand that
it's going to be quicker to the punch with, if it looks and feels like Bitcoin, about a third of it, the mechanics, the key pairs, then of course businesses are going to get to it quicker. And of course they're going to go, right, this is the Bitcoin of this. It has got a bit of that shitcoin feel to it. Like something ramping up behind Bitcoin and threatening. But it isn't competing with money. No. It's not money. No proof of work anyway, no blockchain. So it keeps all the good bits of Bitcoin and it sort of tessellates with it perfectly. Where you onboard to one, you can onboard to the other. And you can put it on an app for anything. It'll replace Strava, LinkedIn. All the socials are gone. They're gone.
That security part that I bang on about all the time, and that I think you might have fixed possibly with Passport, is a massive hole for me as well. Like, I just don't like that part. I don't like feeling like you could put all this energy and time into something that you could lose.
Yeah, so you're talking about like basically your digital identity being a private key, basically, and if you fuck up with that private key, your digital identity is toast. Yeah. I don't think that's fixed. There's solutions around it, like...
We just do a federated mint style social recovery for that.
Yeah, but the problem is, if that private key falls into the wrong hands, it doesn't matter whether you can recover it or not.
Well, it's a social recovery if you just have to meet 3 of the other people that helped you make it, that you know as friends, and the other guys took it.
It's if it falls into the wrong
Yeah,
hands.
So it does, and then they send a few like Max's gays out on the
No, but it's not Max's gays. It's you build a massive massive following over a long time. You have a load of listeners or whatever it is, or a business around it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone now gains access to your NPub, whatever, NSEC, and then now they control it. My issue is like that could be really dangerous. Open doors with it, and
that's just Bitcoin again.
No, but
you've just gone from one to the other, because on the Bitcoin stuff, it's like keep it on the exchange or spin up 12 words, and you've got to be responsible, right? And then on the Nostr, I don't like it because ultimately I could put some reputation on it, and if I don't manage the 12 words properly, I lose them. Well, fucking
but managing.
It's better than Bitcoin because no one can spend that reputation after a certain point. Once you've gone out and said that's it, it's not my account anymore.
It's different. If you could have something like you could have your NSEC and then you have child NSEC.
No, you could have brother and sister, so you could just say, right, I'm launching 2 new N pubs, and one signs something joint with the other, and then you keep them in separate places. And all the multi-sig coming through on Nostr, all Frost is coming through.
I was just about to say, there is ways to fix it, but it's just too early to...
NSEC bunker?
For one of them to take prevalence. So you've got stuff like a HSM mode like NSEC bunker where you have it on a node and you talk to it remotely. You've got apps like Amber that are a separate app on your phone where that's the only one that you put the trust in. You've got solutions coming up on Passport where it's like an offline device where it talks via Bluetooth to your phone that holds your private key, so segregation that way. You've got the multi-sig sort of stuff, and I think we're just going to have to wait and see which one works out. Yeah. But it's definitely a risk, especially now, because basically what most people are doing is just pasting their NSEC everywhere, and there is going to be people that get burnt.
But the risk is that we're using LinkedIn to make business relationships. That's the fucking risk. Not using something that is very, very high fidelity and the 1 in a million chance you get your key swept and you're important enough for that to matter. The risk is everybody goes out on a network where you can just say what you want, and there's no proof of work, there's no audit of record of what you've done, there's no signed events, there's no check-ins that can't be invented, and it's all fake anyway. Like the minute you've just got that, even if there was a 50-50 chance over 5 years you lose your reputation, you've still run for as long as you do on a reputation that's still better than your Uber score, or at least as good as your Uber score. Not your Uber score. But, Nostr, I just think it's going to be bigger. It's going to be picked up quicker is the other way of putting it. It's going to get picked up quicker than Bitcoin in the same stretch of time, and it will help Bitcoin get adopted. Because whatever feature cracks in Nostr that a non-Bitcoin user needs has Bitcoin on the back end for free.
Do we have any real actual metrics of use on it?
Hard because it's decentralized, the same as Bitcoin. Like the metrics have all come with health warnings. Like it could, like in Bitcoin, you can make transactions look.
Or like how many you can measure it.
Was it 500,000 users a year ago? I think was a good number.
Yeah, Nostr.band has stats on it. I'm going to dig them out.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get like daily active users, active NPubs, and then dormant accounts. You can see all that sort of stuff.
There must be stuff on the Bitcoin transactions as well. There must be
because that links into all the podcasting 2.0 stuff, so it skews it.
But doesn't? Oh, I see. Right, so you can't. There's no like natural local transaction level.
I don't think. I think you probably could do it, but they lump it in. So when you see these stats, it's like, oh, there's this much Bitcoin being moved. It's like
just a load of.
Well, yeah, it's fucking boosts on podcasting 2.0. That's what it is.
But even that, like you can talk about triple entry accounting and all that. If you had Nostr, we're looking at it for the business we're in here. You could have an NPub attached to a tractor and an NPub attached to a worker, and if they don't have the right license, they've not done the first aid, the tractor hasn't got an MOT, the fucking thing won't open. So you talk about audit and health and safety. If you had a tap signer style thing, regardless of the risks of it being lost at the bottom, who gives a shit, make another one. They can get into somewhere or not be in somewhere on live rails for safety stuff. It's already done with fucking 12 words, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just get a card to somebody. And
that side of it, I think, is really cool. And when it starts to be coming into, like, you talk some of the physical world stuff here where you want to do it and reputational stuff and blah, blah, blah. Very, very cool. That opens up a whole different world, basically.
Because you can do payments at the same time as access control. You can do payments at the same time as access control. So you can enter the building, pay in or not, check your NPub. Yeah. Are you a long-time donor to the show? As an example, if you're generous and you've sent lots of zaps and you've got a Nostr account, it's irrepeatable good faith, isn't it? And then say those people who were producing content came into lots and lots of commercial land with lots and lots of cheap products. We just take a query of the MPubs and say, right, anybody in that whitelist is 50% discounted on something you don't have to go to a fiat shop for.
Yeah.
Across a range of different things, food, materials, services, training, holidays, whatever you want. And when you pay at the exact same time as when the door opens or when you order a table or when you order something.
Yeah.
And it pays the workers at the same time because it prisms into a project that's already costed on a template, and the bloke who's doing the table gets it into their Bitcoin wallet when they say the job's finished. And it sits in an escrow at project level. Unlike a company that has a treasury in its legal entity, you can budget projects with Bitcoin along Nostr.
What Nostr-y, Bitcoin-y cool shit can you guys talk about here? Because we are sat at Citadel Timber with still a long way from what I can imagine, but a fucking big step forward from when I was last here, which was only, I don't know, a couple of months ago?
Couldn't have been. We had a month and a half, maybe.
Month and a half?
Yeah.
Big step forward. There's a lot going on here. So as you think about where this is going, where does Nostr and Bitcoin fit into this business?
Just integral to mine. It's absolutely integral, Nostr, because the whole cost of doing business at least in the UK is dealing with the public. The amount of businesses in the graveyard because they tried to face the public doing something good-hearted and just got destroyed. So this idea that the risk is in your counterparty as a customer, but we've got really good quality customers. It means that we can audit people in a good faith way.
You got some.
Hey mate, you're right. This is the guy. This is the guy that stays quiet of it.
They're all in the barbecue. It's keeping warm.
Good for audio quality.
I'm gonna go get them.
What's it? ASMR?
We had it to spit out.
No, we keep it in. This is chicken.
Good to see you, dice rolls.
How technically annoying is it fitting this stuff, or is it all kind of?
Mate, I think what Ben was talking about.
I haven't even heard it yet.
It's all doable. Come on, it's all doable. Like I was saying to someone when we were in Norway, none of it's hard. It's just doing it. It's understanding the vision, which is not always as easy as it can be.
Yeah.
Fuck off. And then building it.
That's the hard bit.
Yeah. And then having people to come and use it.
That's the thing. All this tech stuff, it's shit if you haven't got a proper business. I don't think a tech company is a real. I think it's a ridiculous thing to say. A tech company, it's like what tech what? It's only good against what it makes cheaper in a real business. And the tech, the AI, and all of that. That's not a company. That's reducing friction on stuff that takes ages because it's notebooks and nowadays emails, and later on it'll just click straight away. If we're saying Nostr, if the atomic unit, one of them in Nostr is the accounts and one is the events. They're the atomic units. Across those two things, you can inventory an entire business and automate it. You can make Nostr into open source project management software. And when you open a project in Nostr with NIT, 190, it opens a project container with a Bitcoin wallet at the top that assigns an owner from the creator of the project and then dispenses the stakeholders as they're paid. T-shirt sized for dev work, bounties for physical work or for particular problems, and people can donate into that project. It will dissolve what a company is, probably, because you don't need a central treasury in a company anymore, because that was what fiat banking stopped at. But Nostr, you can fund things down to pennies. We can do it where later on Citadel Timber has an NPub with a Zap receivable in it. We've got a battery bank here. If someone wants to zap us 50p's worth of electric, we can literally just put a trigger on the grid and just pull 50p of electric into batteries we've got. No one's going to send me 50p.
Remember when early days Bitcoin, especially with Lightning, when everyone was talking a lot about micropayments? That was like the thing. Obviously, Nostr's kind of doing that now. As an example, we have some graphics that me or Mr. Crown have made for Ungovernable Misfits. Someone comes here, you've got a massive touchscreen ordering system you've built there on the CNC, and someone says, here's a massive countertop that I want for my desk. Can you CNC in the Ungovernable Misfits skull? They press it, they buy it. They scan their NPub, whatever, they buy it, they pay it in Bitcoin, it starts printing, and then a percentage goes down to Ungovernable Misfits and to Mr. Crown because he made that, so he gets his percentage.
And that's all visible up front when you buy it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a kind of top sheet of a contract. It's like when you press buy against your thing, you're buying a table or a cup of coffee. And then it'll have, like you have on the splits and the prisms on the pods, you know, like a 90%, 3% thing. It'll have that on everything on the Nostr. And that's recorded. So if I jilt you on your table, you don't have to do nothing. It's just like report on Twitter. You just say, hey, that thing that we agreed never went down. Over time, you build up reputations and reputations go to zero.
And people would be able to see that on an ordering system as well. So like one change we're making at Ungovernable, going forward, any
sat splits, anything that comes in from Governor Misfits, for anything, 10% goes to Free Samurai.
Yeah.
So that's coming in from next week. And so people will be able to go to order the table, and that might drive a decision where they go, do I want the Ungovernable Skull or do I want this other one?
Yeah.
Well, hang on, I quite like that this goes to this and this one, they're getting paid. And oh, that's quite nice.
Exactly.
And then they hit that. You guys earn the money. We earn. That's where I sit and I go, that's cool.
It's all up front. So there's no, like, charities, fiat charities are psychopaths. They're like, right, we want to give water to Africans from London on 6 figures in a nice bit of town because we don't like going out on the dirty train. Yeah. Psychopaths.
Yeah.
But this is like, no, that's the front window and all the pipe work going from that window to where it's getting paid. Right. Not only can you see it, you can see I can't get into it. From the point you transact to the point that person's getting paid, it's over. And that's it. And that leads on to contracts, real smart contracts that have their syntactic highlights of types of arrangements, like legal, like seed legals, like boilerplate legal agreements. They can start to go on Nostr as well as recognised contracts. So one might be for a hardware signing device, that level of size. I pay you, you send me that type of transaction. That is then shown to be used by many people. And then you can show how many of those you've done.
Someone orders something. One of the people who's milling here, someone's walking around, they go, oh, there's a job that needs to be done.
Exactly.
They can scan their MPub. That worker gets a percentage of you've earned as the business.
Yes.
So the people who are busier and actually do stuff earn more.
And do the work that pays the most on a list. Here's another one. We're looking at using Nostr to rebuild PADI as a scuba dive syllabus. But what's interesting is if you're an instructor and you leave and quit, you don't get a retirement. But if you're in the system for 20 years, you probably deserve one out of diving. If you're a Nostr instructor and you've got that MPub and you've issued open water certifications for 20 years to customers, you could have it that those MPubs, whenever they dive in the future, send a 3% scrape back to the guy that taught you how to dive forever. And if they go on to do instructor themselves, there's a little scrape like dust coming from the students you taught. And what you have is if you retire in diving when you're 50, you keep your NSEC and you've got a stream of sats.
Just make sure you secure that NSEC properly.
you secure your Bitcoin because you secure your pension, which is what it's replacing.
Technically possible.
I don't understand where you'd be scared of having Nostr backed up in the same thing you have your money backed up in with no nets.
No, you do, because where do you generate the NSEC from is one. So if you can do that
is a Bitcoin wallet.
Off a secure offline device, you can do that, and that's somehow like a child seed from your Bitcoin thing, which you've secured really well. Brilliant, that would be great.
It's technically identical to that.
Yeah,
Bitcoin and Nostr.
That's step one. You have to do it right, not generate it in an app that's closed source. And two is you have to make sure that you're not directly inputting that into all these different bits of software, which is what you're talking about with Amber.
No, the divers are retiring without a pension.
I know that.
Right. So it doesn't matter if they lose their 12 words halfway through. It doesn't. It's better to just take that risk because what's being held back for your perfect solution is just a good enough.
I'm not saying don't use it. I'm just saying
definitely will. And it's no different than if LinkedIn decided to scrub your profile. You lose all of your connections, all of your comments, all of the people, you're gone. So we're not fixing to perfect. We're fixing to 1 inch above LinkedIn for free.
What I'm saying is it's so close to being that perfect thing where you go, like, I'm very comfortable with my Bitcoin. I'm comfortable, it's secure, I'm happy, everything in my life basically runs off it. But with an NSEC, I'm not there yet because it's not quite there yet. So I'm not going to lean in as hard as I did with Bitcoin. It's like fucking.
Well, it's not money.
It's
like you've got no reputation at the moment except goodwill and subjective stuff.
Yeah.
So it's anything better than what we've got now. Anything is better than what we've got now. And think of all people got rinsed on businesses and VC investments. All these people are getting fucked, and it's quiet and it's not audited. So if there's a map that's got a bit of, all right, you've got to go and do some anal things and roll the dice and stuff, but get on that map and start doing events with people that are real and trading with people that are real and using it because it's proven there's life over here, because the rest of it's just an unauditable swamp. People pop up in the middle with the Bitcoin hat on, rake you for 50 grand and gone. They keep coming up on the stages and they are just serial losers. I want to be on a map where I could lose my 12 words, but that they are different to me. And I'll take the risk of the 12 words being wrong right now. I think that's what it'll be used for. It's a structured LinkedIn, and it ships with money And the badges are huge, that type of endorsement. You can send a badge to somebody else.
The possibilities literally, and like everybody that's in Bitcoin has had that moment where they take 12 words and they put it into a different wallet and they see their money appear and they're like, holy shit.
And it went, where did it go?
How did the money move? And it's like, well, it didn't move. Nostr's exactly the same, but for the entire rest of your life.
Yeah.
Look at any app on your phone, Uber, eBay, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Imagine just being able to put in one piece of imagine and have your whole social network.
Imagine surely that's just as, if not more, worrying if you're going to lose all that.
That's what I'm saying.
No, you've already lost it.
No.
Yes, you didn't have a reputation before that system.
I'd rather lose all my money than lose everything else.
You've got a copy of your reputation on Nostr. You're still a person. You still got what you lose your Bitcoin. It's gone. You don't get a copy of the fiat money in your bank account. It's not the same thing at all.
You can
lose your reputation and say, I've lost my reputation, and start again.
If you do it the right way, like what I'm talking about, where it's not you're not inputting your 12 and 24 words into all these apps like Facebook and whatever. You're doing it from a secure device, like you're doing with a passport, with your Bitcoin. You're doing the same thing, so it's never leaving the device. Yeah. At that point,
I'll just do it when it's still a mess. And just open a business fast.
Well, you
still do it.
Yeah, you look at Bitcoin in 2014, like people were literally printing private keys on paper. And now look where we are.
Exactly. So it's the net risk. Mm-hmm. It's not the risk you want to stare at and ignore all the others around. It's the total ownership of this A versus B.
Yeah.
And for me, I can make a lot of services nearly half as cheap by just establishing the basics. Just one link to me so far are cheap customers, and one hop from them are about somewhere halfway between that and fiat. One hop, that's it, and it's all there. It's all built.
Where do you reckon it is then in terms of like a comparison to Bitcoin Nostr now, like on a time scale?
They're not going to unroll into the markets in the same way. Nostr come out behind Bitcoin, so it gets the benefit of that. It's like drafting in behind.
Yeah.
So all the basic mistakes, like it already had a technical decision to make about how to back up NSEX. Great, 24 words. We already worked that one out. Bang. And that got us QR codes. Great, okay. Oh, and we've got Lightning now. So that got piped in. Done. That all happened very quickly. It's like in Africa when they went from like no telephone wires and telegrams all the way quickly up to mobile phones. They never put copper cables in and no intermediary tech. But it's going to be like that. Like Nostr will leapfrog stuff that took Bitcoin a long time to decide.
Because at the moment, most people are using it just for social media, like Twitter clone. Yeah. Most people. Like some of the stuff we're talking about here is a big step further than that. Where do you think we are on a timeline from like that being normal and that most people involved in Bitcoin or around it are like, yeah, open doors with it. If I want to come and get some work done, that's
2010.
2010, you reckon that early?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm saying time will move faster on Nostr.
Much quicker.
Yeah. Because like 2010 Bitcoiners didn't have AI to rewrite code.
Yeah.
You're different, the river's different. So Nostr will come out faster and it'll fill out to the width of Bitcoin in terms of a project. And then it'll slightly overtake it. And then I think they'll just go shoulder to shoulder with each other.
So 5 years?
I think it'll be less than that.
You reckon?
Yeah, because of AI.
I think it's going to be harder to quantify though, because with Bitcoin, the use case is money. That's it.
Yeah.
With Nostr, the use case is everything else.
Yeah.
So it's like you might get it shooting ahead. Yeah, you might get it shooting ahead in specific use case like marketplaces, uncentrable marketplaces, but then the LinkedIn type of thing might not happen or never happen for 20 years or something.
It's at the moment, just as a thing, even though it's 2010 Bitcoin in terms of it's how built out it is, it's my cheapest to deliver security system on a real business. It's my cheapest to deliver solution for access with the other things I need, like point of payment, knowing who's on the site. And then we can append things like if staff are here and they've got a staff badge, you know that they can start your heart again. Or they know how to use a defibrillator. Or they know how to hit it when you're choking on a sausage roll. Very likely, talk about risk. Someone's been first aid trained to Heimlich maneuver you, which would be a horrendous job. I can de-risk stuff that people just accepted risk inside of a normal fiat world. Just totally de-risk.
my NPUB to ride that robot you're buying.
Yes.
Have you seen this robot he's buying?
I have not.
Can you play it?
We're looking at a Unitary, like a DJI, that kind of style company, but they did humanoids and dog robots instead.
Just play it.
Should we play it?
Yeah, just play it.
Put it on the big screen. Just click that for me there, sausage. See that little thing looks like an old Nintendo.
About getting this in as a work.
See that black box? Just there's a button.
Fucking mental.
Because it's not AI. This is actually real. And bear in mind when you're watching this, they've got a forestry company on a quarry, And we've got... Yeah, just press that for us. That's it. Thank you. Fucking hell. You're worse than me.
20,000 buttons in here.
Well, we just did that one. There you go. Skate parks coming in here. Out of the CNC, you know, the transitions and stuff. Turn that on for us with your sausage. Reach the rep.
Which button?
Oh, it's on. It never ends.
I think the key management stuff's important on your stuff. I don't think it's been solved. What's going to be happening with the Passport Prime is promising, but I don't think it's the answer. I think there needs to be some key rotation stuff. Or...
There needs to be the ability to have... We've mentioned loads of different use cases like LinkedIn and eBay and all that sort of stuff. You need to have a segregated way to interact with that if it does become compromised somehow, that it doesn't risk the rest of the network.
Yeah, and there are proposals for it. It's just quite a complex thing because you have all these relays and all these clients, and you need to have a solid mix that does it all.
It's the same old organised chaos of decentralisation.
Don't let it bully you. They're all nasty pricks. I like you, mate. Oh, they're wrong about you.
I think it's called negging.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I like you as well. When you're a little bit less cocky. Noisiest quiet man I've ever met. Mind your fingers.
That was just for you, that.
Oh, I love them, mate. We got to record them. Talk about Nostr badges. If you can make Mark make that noise. This is not AI, okay? Verifiable. Real. It's not ordered. They won't reply to my emails.
No, you emailed them last night.
No, I've been emailing them loads.
What, real?
That's real. Now, Pandy, like the quarry, if someone's injured on a hill, it's not a joke. Like, that gets something to someone for me.
You can ride it, apparently.
You can ride it. I'll get the... Do you know that little herd sheep? Right? And it's our skate park instructor. Because why wouldn't it be? Like, you load that up with a backflip, why wouldn't you put that on a skate park? It's got a drone going behind it, by the way. Obviously, there's a whole thing about that. Sam's getting jealous.
Yeah, he's going to get money.
It's like, fuck you, robot dog. You haven't got big plums like me. We can carry what? Like, think of all the land in America that hasn't got access by road, and so it's worth 25% of what it is if it's on a road, and you can get in and out on them, and you can send unmanned medical, food, water, battery packs, anything, fuel, anything you want.
Will it like my barbecue though?
It won't like your barbecue. That'll be 2030.
Jesus.
Ordered.
Jesus.
I'll show you one.
I don't know what to think about that.
One more. Oh, what's it
I
called?
don't know if I'm convinced it's real.
Not me.
Well, Ari wasn't convinced, but he's told me 100 times that it's real. You can...
Surely we could buy one online right now then.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah. They've got a DJI style website. Have you seen this?
I have seen this, yeah.
So that dog is $100,000. That dog. And these...
So if it does all that...
These cost £400,000 and run on diesel.
How much?
400 grand.
It runs on diesel.
And run on red diesel. Not avgas. Diesel. Now you put the dog and you put that together. You're in Minority Report.
I am, man.
Oh, fuck no.
That is actually real.
There's a reason
that
to do
look
that
real?
also, though.
Why?
One's when it doesn't work.
You know?
Gets wet?
Yeah.
Are you
No, that's
amazing
that thing's got full of flotation.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. So it's okay over water. If you go over a car park from 50 foot.
Break your legs.
Yeah.
No, these are Royal Marines. They don't care about that.
Leg broken.
They don't care about that.
They prefer it when they break their legs.
No, they just don't care. They might break their legs or not. Doesn't matter. They're attacking a boat. They're not like, hang on, guys. Has everyone got their helmet on?
When are you getting one of these then?
They're going to get cheaper.
It's 400 grand.
Yep.
Runs on red diesel.
Red or A1 have fuel. Your choice. I'd have diesel.
What's this guy doing now? Spider-Man?
He's just scaling on a scaling ladder. It's very hard, that. Oh, yeah, you've seen it getting ridden around.
So I'm gonna insert some images.
You take those tech now, and these are delivered.
Yeah.
Now, if you've got a real business, if you've got something with already like eating horrendous risks and horrendous costs on repetitive stuff, and it's analog, Nostr and all of this stuff, we can qualify people on these items.
Can it do my editing for me, that robot?
No, mate.
Fucking repetitive.
No. There's no chance. You'd edit it, whether it was free to edit or not. Edit boy. But yeah, this stuff's coming along, and it's very applicable. So that's a $100,000 quoted drone dog, and it's really cool. And they've probably already made more money on the views than they've made on the sales. For me, we've got a multidisciplinary group. We've got carpentry and joinery, forestry, and training, human training. And that thing can run security, triggers a motion thing, comes out and films whatever's being moved. It can have a drone mounted on the back of it or behind it. It can do jobs on a farm. Sheep herding, I think, is just obvious, easy.
Pulling up the hill.
Anything.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and then the safety stuff is like, if you're in a remote forest, that thing just sits on standby, and on it is a big, massive first aid pack and whatever else. And as soon as you hit a button on your jacket, radio just gets it, and it just comes to your AirTag.
It's fucking cool.
And it's on all the time. It's not having a brew. It's not out sad. It's not drunk. It's just sat there. And the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the hiring pool outside of Bitcoiners.
Sad and drunk.
The hiring pool is hard work. Yeah. So that we'll get the robot dog in it. It's that good. And then that same thing, it's just software updates it. It could do a skate park instructing bit if we get a few skate park ramps here. Put that on it. Just like you've seen the demo.
That's pretty mad that we're not far away from opening doors with an NSEC. Everything's in Bitcoin and Lightning.
Yeah.
We have robots doing shit.
Yeah. It's even better than that. All the market are taking the tech and trying to turn it into walled garden and cash flows for VC, for multiples, for floats. And they've ran off with the tech, but the ground game is FOSS, private.
Yeah.
With the same use case, almost at the same pace, often faster than... Like, look at the AI stuff. The open source stuff's overtaking the closed.
In some respects.
In every
Still,
respect.
No.
Well, DeepSeek came out and just ate everyone's dinner. And then Llama, when that got leaked, the Llama that got leaked improved faster than the Facebook in-house Llama.
But the mid-journey and the image generation's not quite there yet.
Oh, God, you're hard to please, you.
Yeah, well, I just fucking say it how it is, mate. I use Midjourney every day. Midjourney's the best thing. There's nothing that's close to it yet.
What does that do, Midjourney?
No, the image.
Exactly. Use it for what?
All my images.
There you go, exactly. Pointless job. What about if you had... It's fucking pointless. It doesn't fucking matter, does it? How many cats you get? I don't give a fuck about that. GPT-4 Pro designs templates for project work. That was a day. You know, we get word maps and stuff out of the AI. DeepSeek's free. Scan all them books in. Scan all of our operational documents, all our documentation, and it'll tell us what...
DeepSeek is completely open.
It's just been given back. It's complicated because it's been given, but I think it's got this lossy compression effect on it. So the bit that you get is the rendered down version of the work somewhere else, and it's usable.
Right.
But it's not backwards. It's not reverse engineerable.
But you could run that on your own tower.
Yes.
And then you could train it specifically for your own shit within here.
Yeah.
Run your robots and your with it. It gets very Iron Man very quickly.
It's risk. If it takes danger out of a program, it's going to pay for itself. Because if you put stuff that's 100 grand against loss of life, you'll sell them. Well worth that. I'll pay 70 grand not to have a lad killed under a tree.
Yeah.
That's 70 grand well spent. What's that at the moment? 1.5 Bitcoin. Yeah. Tell me where to send it, because that's fine. I'll get the dog. And that other thing we showed you, the laser cube. Have you seen that?
Oh, I get that on as well.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
How, Jordan, you're going to have to work out how to make video.
This one's a big deal.
For this bit, somehow, mate. Sorry.
Let's go work show and tell us.
You will, where
You work it out. Yeah.
What's this one?
Someone threw a cock on it.
Well, that's the first thing, isn't it?
Oh my God, it's already been done. There's another one.
They beat you to it.
Oh, mate.
Pig, I think.
Wait, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, technology.
He's a picture, we don't know.
This is a big deal.
Because you can do raids for it.
You can do passport demos with it. I can do holographic skill demonstrations with no human involvement. Someone can download a physical training pack, and this can deliver it in their living room so they can practice squats.
You can throw the bat signal up.
Just put Kieran
straight off to the central bank, straight off to the WF. 250 metre throw.
How much?
250 metres. So that's from the back of the lakes all the way to this building. Look at this. That's insane.
Does it draw a lot of power?
No. It runs on battery. It's like a laptop-sized unit, basically. I'll just get the one with the clever bits on it.
And then this is the last video we're going to do.
Yeah, sorry, I know. Laser compilations number 15. Someone drew tits on Batman.
It's never in the day.
She drew the titties on Batman, dude.
The day.
Right, so like if you're a sniper position and you're at like Bitcoin Amsterdam and you've got that in a bag, you could draw tits on Pete McCulloch.
That's a real use.
While he's introducing the Prince of Suburbia again.
Yeah.
How much is one of these going for?
They're getting out from like hundreds up to for €2,000 for the full and then it's got. But that comes with like the dry ice mister. Right. And because you can put these in hologram. Okay. So if you've got 2 of them and you've got Steam, you can create an Obi-Wan Kenobi, You're My Only Hope thing. But if you think for I'm hiring in a trainer, a professional trainer, and we can put the motions of a movement of anything we teach in skill into that format. And on a forestry, we can put that on a tree, and it can measure level and then highlight on the tree the heavy red parts that are off the thing and the safe green boughs that are in the middle. Someone drew tits on Batman, but I saw a discounted death rate of arborists because that's on a battery pack. With a laptop, they can point it at a tree and it will colour code like conditional formatting on an Excel spreadsheet. But the TikTok one's the best because that was the official video.
You showed me one the other day that was more mad. Was it that one?
Yeah, well, let's try this one and then we'll stop.
Yeah, dog, Iron Man, laser.
Yeah, okay, so this isn't a bad one, I think. Let me show.
Well, we did say we're getting ordered and got more Bitcoin stuff, so this is...
That's true.
AI hasn't messed around with the designs yet, but a DeepSeek would be able to design... Look at that.
A Kia.
So if we had laser cubes shining down on this table and you were sweeping through designs that you wanted carved on it, on the table, you can play games. You know, that snake game. Imagine that on the side of a castle. And my mate Squeaky's got a drone that will pick that up in the air. So it'll shine down from the sky. It'll mark tracks, mark paths. Anyway, I know it's a Bitcoin show, but that's fucking epic.
No, it's not. Really.
Way more interesting what's happening in Bitcoin.
Well, I agree. Yeah.
The implications, I mean.
Oh, Apple. I want to talk about Apple. Thoughts from everyone? Because we talked about it on the last show.
It was always going to happen, wasn't it?
Well, that's...
For sale, one heavily soiled MacBook Air. Real crusty, but loved.
It would happen. But now they've come out and it is happening. Yeah. Loads of people will lie and say they don't use Mac and they're Linux only, but let's be real, a lot of people use it. I use it.
Oh, so you're only fussy about your Nostr keys, not about like your daily driver?
That's what I'm talking about now.
Yeah, you're all right with it. Oh, you are going to change?
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are in this position now. It's like, yeah, you should be using a Linux machine. Are
you selling them?
But it's like, these are just so good, or were so good, that people use them. But now it's like, no, come on, you crossed a line now. You've actually gone too far. Now it's, fuck off.
The UK broadly is way off the map. They're not keeping track of affairs. The US has rotated its entire structure, and Keir Starmer and the socialists are in. Yeah. So that for as long as that'll be our Joe Biden era, when all this bullshit, all this will just play out, and it'll be 4 years of discontented stagflation, and it'll get swept in, and it'll get swept back out again. Trump will probably just come through and say, right, you're going to give our US-based Apple company trouble, just double the tariffs again, isn't it? Like UK can't even enforce its own laws exclusively, because so if the US is driving towards smaller government and more freedom, at least on the tin, I would expect the pendulum to swing back on this quick.
I think that the risk here is, other than the obvious risk to UK-based Apple users, is that other countries are going to see this and see that Apple is actually susceptible to
good point,
persuasion, shall we say, particularly in Europe. I think you're right about the US. There's been a paradigm shift there, but
what's Europe?
Yeah, the risk here is that other European countries will see this and think, I wouldn't mind a bit of that. And also, it's not just the risk to Apple, is it? Like, Apple's not the one under attack here. Encryption is the one that's under attack. So, it's Apple today. Tomorrow it might be Proton. Then it's Tutanota. That's the worrying part for me, is that it's easy for me to sit here feeling smug because I barely use Apple and, I've got Graphene, Proton Drive and stuff, but Apple was the head that got chopped first because it's the biggest head. Yeah. So I don't think it is going to end here, unfortunately.
I don't worry about it, though.
I wouldn't say I was worried about it. Like, open source software exists for a reason. Like, for those that have a will, there is a way.
Yeah.
But the risk is to gen pop that just go along with and use default stuff, is that all of their data is just completely...
And to the degree that's true, it makes the people who aren't using that stand out more.
Who
aren't. So if you're the privacy tech guy and you've got all these different softwares and phones, and then 90% of the people are just on the stupid stuff, pure KYC, tracking you all the time, you will stand out. Just as not having that right address, IP address, or whatever it is, you'll stand out more and more. I'll stand in both ponds. Like, I'll keep using MacBooks for the boring business. and dare someone to backdoor my MacBook to see how much firewood we've sold. Just send them you know what I mean? Like, there's a thing in this where it's like, okay, well, if that's the fucking game, and this is the map we're on, then here, look, I can bore you to death with what I've got, boys. Come in and like, look through the Mac. I dare you to break my Mac to look at the shit on my MacBook. Like, just do it. Like, and thank you for wasting 4 to 10 salaries that cannot be bought back, but looking up my dress because there's nothing to look at.
Yeah.
So everything's got a sort of pendulum out, pendulum back kind of feel to it.
Reuse this for the boring stuff, and then for anything, you know, you've got to go to a Linux system. But then it's like, as I was saying to you, Coffee, it was like, what do I use that's going to work? And even you as a technical person, like, well, you sort of get something to work for, 3 months, and then suddenly your driver will go and you won't be able to use your
Linux desktops.
Yeah.
And the other one is, look at it from the side of the people that just enforce the law. So we're all gutted that MacBooks just now are a bit dodgy. But from their side, they're like, hang on, they're in some meeting, some espionage meeting, like, right, what did we get then? It's like, well, all the serious criminals and terrorists have just moved to Linux. Yeah. But what have we got? Well, we've got Alf's Google Drive, right? So they're like, hang on a minute. So we're in the sausage making business. We make intelligence. And that decision that has to be enforced now and has to be staffed and has to be kept up to date and has to be looked to be seen to be enforced now gets us 90% more sawdust. And where's the meat? They're on graphene or they're on whatever the nth next. So all the crims that are in set that cannot use one or the other, they didn't even get them anyway.
No, exactly.
So think from the law side, whatever that cost in goodwill, in the way they look, bullies, tyrannical, they don't even get anything for it, to my mind. They've already given away the enforceability of it because the text, there's 10 other things promising, simplex, and if you're serious, you're doing serious things, you don't go back on a MacBook.
No.
So that's it then, isn't it? Just be boring on a MacBook.
Is it about law enforcement or is it about mass surveillance?
And the sort of data that they get is like, you already know, just like creepy side of it is like, there's people using iPhone and MacBook, got pictures of their kids, got their private lives, and then suddenly on the other side of that is some creepy, probably pedo, knowing the British government, cult, collecting all of that data. They're like,
well, maybe a bit, right, pedo or not pedo, but like psychotic.
Yeah.
Like you're a chicken in the chicken farm that is now the focus of attention, like that machine that comes out of the Matrix and goggles your eye like that.
Yeah.
And you get that feeling. And it's scary because the UK, what was that signal department that got used to shill COVID narratives? It was like a hearts and minds. The ones that take over the radio in bloody communist they come in and they've got an AI. They borrowed DeepSeek and they had a load of servers left over from some god awful bloody confiscation, and they just start running the compressed Google Drives of the UK. They get political narrative. You know that one in V for Vendetta when they go, we've been listening, and then they go along in the cars with the speakers, and then they go and report the mood and feel of the country back to that Prime Minister. You get that kind of fine control.
It's creepy.
But it's all good.
Fucking creepy. It's a forcing function to make, like I've talked about, I'm going to get off away from Apple. I've been talking about it for a couple of years. I do for some stuff. I run any Bitcoin stuff as Linux already. But now it's like, that forces me to, I'm done.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a bit of a good thing. Or like an awakening.
You can carry on using the Mac and just not use iCloud.
Not use iCloud. But I'm going to fuck my phone off and go to graphene.
Is it just on iCloud?
Yeah, it's iCloud.
Oh, it's all
but there is
I haven't used iCloud since I filled it up with.
There are broader issues with what Apple have. They have a proprietary stack of software. You don't really know what's going on under the hood. So if they're like, okay, well, we're not going to encrypt this data anymore, what else is going on? It's not necessarily that there is anything else going on. It's just makes you think.
I wouldn't. If there was a perfectly private, usable app, I wouldn't use it for all my stuff. I'd put the private stuff on the private app, and I'd put the boring stuff on the boring app, and let them go through it and comb through it. I think that's more balanced.
And it comes back to trade-offs again. If you're a real person in the real world and you want to actually run a business, do you want to spend 3 days trying to get your desktop to work?
Well, Start9 doesn't. Unless Start9 has project management software, I'm sure it will soon. But what I mean is, like, you can't use this stuff enterprise level, I don't think, for anything. But Nostr and all the stuff.
Like we're touring it.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's like, for running, like, no one's. I think privacy's got a hygiene kind of, like, there's an nth perfect that no one will ever get to. And you've got, like, people who are insane and just keep washing their hands and keep using hand sanitizer. And you've got people that don't do anything of filth and they've got not any privacy good practice at all. I think the balanced middle is do the basics well, accept that you're never going to be a perfectly anonymous person, And then I think Nostr offers the other side of this Apple stuff, which is, well, if you're going to get looked at under a microscope, at least have your activity logged in a format or an incentive structure that you can use for value. And then we'll see.
But this is a good opportunity for Start 9.
How have they just got to the top? Or has it just been from failure of all the other attempts?
Ease of use?
I think, yeah, open source for a start, which makes people want to use it.
They were the first to do node software on proper hardware.
Okay.
That actually worked reliably. Everybody
this
else
was like off the Raspberry Pi era.
Everybody else was pushing it to be on a Raspberry Pi, which was great if you had a very simple use case for it. Yeah. And as soon as you start doing password managers and the files and Lightning and Raspberry Pi just weren't cut out for it. So Start 9 were the kind of shakers and movers that said, you know what, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Let's do it on a proper computer that's only $100 more than a Raspberry Pi anyway.
And they've hung tough, haven't they? Because that's a good idea back then, and they're still around now when it's really pertinent.
The support was so good as well, isn't it?
Is it? Yeah. Yeah. The other ones fail at support. The other node sellers fail at support.
Yeah.
Nice user interface, easy.
Yeah.
And open source, so people want to... They weren't open source. Jordan and everyone wouldn't have done what they've done with Dojo, because what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
So it draws more talent across to it.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to cover? Or are we sort of...
What's the Prime updates?
Prime updates, still looking good for early April shipping. The boys here have had an exclusive sneak peek.
Oh, you let us see
the hardware today, which was with some smiles and some boos and ahs, which is nice to see. But yeah, all looking good to be early April to start shipping for early access customers. Pretty much sold out early access, so if you are going to order one and you want one of the first batch, then you better be quick. But otherwise, yeah, we're just cranking hard to get the software finished and tested and ready to get it into the hands.
The device is excellent. It's excellent. It's excellent. It's the perfect size. It's the perfect dimensions. Whoever heads up your design in picking it up like an iPhone feel, start planting.
It's Zach. It's Andy, who's our head of design.
Andy, pay rise, mate. Pay rise time for Andy.
It's funny. Working at Foundation is the best job I've ever had, and I only normally have one piece of frustration, and that's the design takes longer than I'm impatient. I want shit to come out as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And the likes of Zach and Andy agonise over the small bits, which I get frustrated at day to day because I think, we're taking too long. But when you have days like today where I put it in your hand and you're like, fucking hell. Like you're just not getting that with a Ledger or a Colt.
No, you're not. You pick it up and you're already negotiating with it in your head. Yeah. I think with them, you're like, right, how are we going to fucking get to the end of what we're doing now? With that thing, you're like, here we go.
So it's moments like that where I take a step back and I'm like, do you know what? All of the frustrations are warranted, and
it's just so well thought through.
Time and the extra design cycles are actually worth it when you see it in people's hands and they're like, actually, yeah, this feels nice.
It looks better than it is it is better than it looks on the website. It's like the opposite of the Big Mac on the McDonald's screen. It's the opposite effect, right?
Yeah.
And you get the one that's looks like it's been jumped around and you just threw it in the box, like, and then the one on the screen is just like, I'd have one of them all day.
I wonder if
it's the opposite of that.
Put that into our marketing feel. It's the opposite Big Mac effect.
Yeah, I don't know. There must be a name for it.
Definitely likes for that, yeah.
But it is that, and like everything, the attention to detail. So it's metal so when you pick it up, it's cold and heavy in your hand like a Rolex. And I didn't like it on the passport. The keyboard rattles.
Yeah.
Didn't like that.
Okay.
And this one, it's just like
touchscreen. Yeah.
It feels like a big watch. Mm-hmm. It's got that heft, and then it's got two ridges along the side of it. So when you gripped it, it's ergonomic. I think it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
It is honestly good, honestly. And the software is even more exciting because of what it opens up on Nostr and much else.
The possibilities are quite literally endless. So.
It's not just like a rejigged passport with all the bits you didn't like about that. It's a new thing with a new feature suite that keeps everything from the previous one and opens up another bit. It's amazing.
That's for hardware. What I think is the same with Start 9 is open source, open platform.
Yeah.
Well built, well designed, massively jump ahead of fucking everything else. And they're going, do you want to build an app? Yeah, that's cool.
Exactly.
Bring it here, do it.
Well, this is our first chance now. If I have business logic thing here, we need to make something that we use Nostr for here. If that can be issued out as a plugin or whatever I don't know what it would look like, but if we could get that it could be on the
an app.
Prime as an app that we use, and then it's just a matter of switching out those npubs for them ones or whatever it works out at, that would be so good.
Yeah, the two main things I'm most excited about is the Foundation is no longer the bottleneck for what can be on that device. Yeah. The only bottleneck now is the imagination of the entire world.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, you can put whatever you want. And the second piece is, if somebody comes up with a use case that I think is ridiculously stupid, we can't stop them doing it.
Yeah.
We're going to do it anyway.
And that's the proof you're not in a walled garden, because if you said, "Oh, that's not for our narrative," spike.
Yeah.
Everyone else goes, "Oh, right, okay." So you can
My
just
crime's
squish
going to
people.
be totally different to your.
Right.
Exactly
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Max's is going to have McDonald's on his own. when McDonald's have when Sovereign Burgers. But no, it'll do. I'm interested in that as well.
Sovereign Burgers.
Are there any other kind? I don't know. I haven't.
That's true.
No, I'm interested to see what people non-Bitcoiners.
Yeah.
That's the interesting thing, is how do you bring non-Bitcoiners into Bitcoin? We've already tried the frontal attacks. Doesn't work.
Well, it's already opening up because Cake are coming in, and
Cake are the first one.
Yeah.
So suddenly you've got 500,000 plus users on Cake.
Exactly.
Fucking big user base. Suddenly going, oh, now we're working with you guys. All the like maxi people are going to get upset by that, but actually no, because now they're coming into the Bitcoin world. A lot of these people aren't involved in Bitcoin really.
Well, I don't think Nostr will adopt person to person. They'll adopt database to database. So when Paddy is rebuilt in Nostr, the divers that use it, you win that entire addressable market, and they go on to Nostr, and then that's a double word score because they've now got Bitcoin wallets with any extra effort. So it, like the adoption into business, it will go database to database. That means the Paddy database, the SSI is their competitor, and then all the other adventure training, British kayaking, the British frigging fishing association. They're all siloed, they're all separate, and they can all go onto Nostr. By extension, you can sign who you are and what you've got and what you own on those.
That's why I think the wallet side of it is least priority. I think.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense because we're bored shitless with Bitcoin. So that all stayed the same and it's stable. It's not changed to the worse. It's just not got better at the same rate or our assessment of it. And Nostr's keeping everybody excited. Well,
Apart from Max.
Yeah. But Max is.
We'll get it one day.
Max is affected.
You have to have
he's regarded.
an old grumpy cunt. That's me there. Keep it level.
You're just fixated on an irrelevant risk.
It's not irrelevant.
It is.
You are wrong.
No.
It's not irrelevant.
I'll just fuck it up myself again, and then you'll just say, "Oh, I didn't mean like that." Yeah. So I'll just run it in the business.
It is relevant, but I believe there are people smart enough to fix it, and that it will get there. And at that point, I'll lean in much harder than I am now. But yeah.
It's very, very, very cliche, but also very true, and we are just early.
Yeah, so everyone gets Nostr at the price they deserve, don't they, Q&A? That's what you said, wasn't it? No, I think that's true. I'll move a bit quicker and take the extra risk. That's what the early Bitcoiners did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was shit. It wasn't. It was worth $2 because it was worth $2. That's why it was $2. Yeah. It wasn't a lottery ticket back then. It was a proper weird, like, what is even this thing? And I think Nostr's doing well just to not be that at the moment. But we're going to use it when? Now. So we're doing that on physical, like Internet of Things shit. Turn your washing machine on, all that shit.
What are you doing?
Alexa light bulbs and all that shit. We're going to do it with some real stuff.
You can get in here with an NSEC.
Get in here on an NSEC now.
There you go.
Or not get in here.
Or not get in.
NSEC.
Yeah.
Max, that's no NSEC.
Don't come up if you're not a friend of the show.
It's a long way to go.
It's a long way to drive home. And we're not going to do like online test your NPubs. It'll just be
the robot dog.
You tell us what you think. There'll be a few. All I'm saying is we're mounting an oak barrel full of water above the door, so it's either an open door or a soggy trip home.
You're getting wet.
Yeah, so fucking hell. If you've got any dodgy sponsors, for instance, bring the fucking Gore-Tex hat, fuckers.
I think we'll end it there.
I think we're good.
Wrong sponsors, you're getting dunked.
That's right. NPubs.
Right reputation, you're getting in and you're getting looked after.
That's right.
Okay, we'll end it there.
I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it gives a little bit of insight into what's happening at Ben Gunn's place. I hope the audio quality wasn't too terrible and us playing all the videos throughout wasn't too annoying, but it was more of a meet-up than anything and just a little chance for you to look through the keyhole like a perv. On the next Bitcoin brief, we will properly be inserting a little 10-minute clip from a dev or someone who's building something interesting. We're getting closer. We didn't quite manage it on this one, but as I said in the intro, you can go back and have a listen. This is actually going to be sent out as its own pod. Just a little 10-minute recording that I did with Jordan to discuss the new Dojo being available on Start9. If you haven't checked it out already, Go and have a look. If you have any problems, reach out to Jordan. Let's get these things running and linked to Ashigaru. Catch you on the next one. And free Samourai.